Hi everyone, welcome back to the Growing a Dental Practice podcast. I'm Hazel from Lift Social, and this is my first podcast flying solo without my wingman Mike. And I'm joined by a very special friend, Rida, the Dental Negotiator. So this is our introductory podcast. We're going to go through what Rida does for dentists, and we'll just go from there. It's just a nice informal conversation. So, Rida, tell me a little bit about you. What's your background? What do you do?
So, a little bit of background about myself. I've been in business for over 25 years, working for businesses and organizations, helping them increase profitability, reduce costs, mainly working for companies. And 2008, I decided to open up my own business, my own consultancy. And this year, due to having a lot of dentist friends, I found out that dentists need quite a bit of help. They're phenomenal practitioners. But from a business point of view, unfortunately, the education system does not support them. It's not there for them. It's not part of their training. It doesn't teach them about business, how to recruit people, how to look at your P&Ls. And that's something that I believe that the education system is missing from the School of Dentistry.
Do you know, I completely agree. Like, as a business owner myself, sometimes you kind of feel like, am I doing this the right way? There's no school that teaches you how to run a business and be a business owner. You kind of just have to figure it out as you go along. So I completely understand that dentists are the same. Like you say, they're really good clinically because that's the passion, that's what drives them. But then when you learn the business of dentistry, sometimes you can get a bit unstuck. So why did you choose to name yourself the Dental Negotiator, and why did you decide to niche down into dentistry?
So the Dental Negotiator, because I negotiate on quite a lot of things. And I truly believe in everything that we do, we negotiate. So even if it's just talking to our kids, we're negotiating. But it's so then it's about working with that. As the Dental Negotiator, when dentists work, they unfortunately, sometimes they go with every quote they're given. They don't negotiate. So it's, and when I've spoken to a lot of my friends or dentists, and then dentist practice owners, they're like, I don't know how to negotiate. I'm not a negotiator. So then I was like, you know what? I love the word negotiation. So let's go with the Dental Negotiator as a side part of the business name. So obviously the business is called Perfectus Consultancy International. So Perfectus comes from the word perfection and always improving. So there is no such thing as perfect, but there's always improvements. And then the Dental Negotiators, because I know that in everything that we do as all the practices can do as dentists, is that they can negotiate, because they're negotiating with their patients with regards to the treatments that they're given anyway. So it's all part of the bundle that I believe it's being able to support that.
Do you know what, as well? I think we negotiate with our kids every day. That is so accurate. But actually, as well, I think we sometimes negotiate with ourselves. Like, I don't know about you, but I have to convince myself sometimes, some days, to get to the gym or to like eat healthily. It's like you negotiate with yourself all of the time. So come on then, give me your top 3 tips that dentists can implement to negotiate. What are the easy things that they can do to improve their negotiation skills?
Simple, easy things they can do. It's literally just talking to their patients, or even just picking up the phone to the supplier and then just saying, is that the best price that you can give me? That's all they need to say. They don't need to say anything better, more than that. And then when they hear the answer, and that's the most important part of negotiation, is listening and speaking. So when the answer is, oh no, but that's the price on the system, and I'm like, but that's not the best price that you can give me. When somebody says, oh, but that's what's on the system, that's not the answer. That's not answering my question. Is that the best price that you can give me? It's also being a little bit persistent, so that's, number 2, being persistent in anything that you want. And then the most important part is, before you even go to pick up the phone, is understanding how much it's worth. So whatever you're getting, just understand, just do a quick Google searches. what is the market rate for example, bonding or Invisalign or whatever it is. You sort of have an idea of who your competitors are and then how much they're charging for it and how much you can make of it. So by you just understanding these basic things, when you sit down to negotiate, you have a foot up. You know exactly what you're doing next, and you know how much you want to pay for it.
Yeah, I suppose it comes back to knowledge is power, isn't it? Once you've forewarned, forearmed kind of thing.
Yeah.
So as well as negotiating contracts and things like that, what else do you do for dentists and dental practice owners?
Wow. So my scope is rather big, but at the same time, I'm trying to minimize it down because I need dentists to focus on, in everything that they do, there's money that they can save or operations that they can improve. I mean, I went into a dental practice recently where unfortunately the receptionist was part of the problem. She was putting people on hold and then forgetting that they're on hold. And then, the dental practice owner wasn't even aware. He wasn't even part of the complaints process. He was just sort of they'll let him know, and he just never got told because he's so busy working away on the patients. And then the nurse that was picking up patients, I was literally in the practice and I was like, oh, can I just come and observe how your business is running? And just picking up the communication skills of the nurse that he had on board. He had recently acquired this practice, and the nurse was just like, come with me, and it was, rather than welcoming, oh, hello, how are you? Great to see you back. And it was just like, come with me, we're going through now. And I was like, well, that's not customer service. And then the practice owner was like, he's like, oh, but that's just the way she is. And I'm like, but is that what you want as a practice owner? He's like, oh, no, that's not what it is. And I'm like, okay, we can get rid of those two and we can hire with it. No, he goes, oh, no. There's nobody in the market. There's no staff out there. I've tried. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you there is. And within a week, I had fired the nurse and the receptionist and hired 2 people in replacement. And now he's literally, he called me up like a couple of days ago. I've been away for a couple of weeks. And he called me up. He goes to me, he goes, my revenue has doubled because of just those 2 people, just replacing them. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, because what it is that you've got a person that's picking up the phone and just telling people, yeah, well, this is the only appointment that I can fit you in, rather than giving them a whole calendar of other days. When somebody says, I want an emergency appointment, oh, we ain't got nothing for 2 weeks. And it was so blasé. It was so annoying from a customer service point of view, because I train customer services as well. So it was like, that's not how you speak to people. And then I even approached the receptionist like, that's not how they don't understand. And I'm like, okay, but if that's your belief, that's what you're portraying onto them, that's what they're gonna talk to you like this, speak, speak as you'd like to be spoken to. You treat people in a bad way, they'll treat you in a bad way. They won't respect you. They won't come to your practice.
Yeah.
And that's a few of the services that I do. It's like I review operations. I used to be an operational manager for big corporate companies, so I look at operations, see how staffing are, see how people are moving. I used to manage teams of 5,000. So just being there, observing people, I can see what type of person we're dealing with. Are they the right fit for your practice? What is your target? What are your goals? Over the next year, what are you aiming for? How are you looking to improve? It's not only the practice owner that needs to improve by training. It's the nurses, the receptionists, everybody in the team. And as the team grows, the practice grows. Mm-hmm. And I'm a true believer in, if I've trained a nurse to do an extra job, I'll give them a pay rise with it. The reason why is that you want the person to grow with you. As they grow with you, they're not asking for a pay rise. You're giving them the pay rise. And what that does is that builds loyalty. And when that builds loyalty within the organization, they love being there. Every day is enjoyable coming to the practice. And that's part of the mindset beliefs that I truly work with. I coach dentists or practice owners to sort of work on that mindset to believe in what they're doing. So then I'm always there at the other end of the phone. So whilst I'm coaching you, you pick up the phone and say, I've got this problem. What do I do? I'm a problem solver. I love problem solving. Part of my dyslexia is my superpower. Is that I don't see problems. I see solutions. Throw any problem at me, I'll give you a solution, regardless of if it's my expertise or not, because I will find the perfect person to give you the right answer. And that's the key thing that I do.
Wow. So is there anything that you don't do? So we've got negotiating contracts, hiring and firing staff. So we've got recruitment, HR, like coaching, mindset, like, what else do you do? Is there anything else that you do?
I mean, outside. I mean, I own my own businesses as well, so that's just that's a side bit as well. I just I enjoy doing what I do. I don't do anything that I don't enjoy anymore. And those years have gone. It's I now only do the things that I enjoy. And if I didn't enjoy working with dental practice and dental practice owners, I wouldn't be here. I love the challenge. I love being stimulated in my mind. I love people pushing me out my boundaries to take me onto a new challenge. I had a practice owner that was part of the way through setting this practice, and he's like, "Oh, if I hit target, I'm gonna get X amount of bonus." And I was like, "Ooh, that sounds interesting." So I was like, so what do we need to do? And then he was like, he goes, I don't know what I need to do. So we sat down with him and we started looking at plans of, bringing on a marketing company like yourself, Hazel. And then, we started looking at the bigger picture of what he can do to hit targets for him to hit his bonuses and then continue selling his practice. And it's sort of, so when people challenge me, I love stepping up to the challenges.
So I know, because obviously we speak outside of the podcast, that you have resulted or saved some pretty spectacular numbers for dental practice owners. So come on, share with me one or two results that you've got for practices.
So last week, practice in the Midlands, we're talking just over £7,500 off utility bills over the year. A couple of weeks ago, also utility bills, just over, actually that's down in Brighton. That was just almost £11,000 for the year. That's 50% off their utility bills. It was just phenomenal numbers, and it's those are there. And I've just partnered up, great news, and I think I'm just bringing it on board now, with Barclays Bank. So so Barclays Bank, due to my Instagram, due to my LinkedIn, they found me and they were like, can we partner up with you? And I'm like, you want to partner up with me? And they were like, yeah, we'll give all of your dental practices and practice owners the best rate, and then they can get their money within 24 hours as well. So it's like, oh wow, practice owners would love this. They're not waiting a couple of days for their money to be transferred into their account. It's there the next day in their account. A customer taps, the next day it's bang, it hits their account, which is phenomenal. Plus they're going to give them the best rates possible. So whatever your rates are, they said would easily beat it. So, which is a phenomenal thing that Barclays are doing. We're doing this joint partnership that's coming out hopefully by the end of the week. So watch this space for the marketing.
That's great. And I mean, obviously you're a business owner, I'm a business owner. There's nothing worse than knowing a client has paid you and that money is just sitting in someone else's bank account waiting to be wire transferred over to hit you and to hit your account. So, and we all know that cash flow and cash is king. If you've got that cash in your bank, then it gives you that better buying decision and buying power. So based on your vast experience and the relationships and case studies and things that you've already executed and all these massive savings that you've executed for dental practices, what would be your number one piece of advice for anyone who is thinking about buying or starting a practice? Like, what's that nugget of information that you think every dental practice owner really needs to know right at the start of their buying journey?
So write your brain, Jenna, regardless of if it's a squat practice or you're buying a practice, there's nothing that you can't negotiate about. From negotiating with the oxygen company to negotiating with the chair company for the services, you know what you need, right? And you can negotiate down to how much it is. Unfortunately, I saw the squat practice recently. He went in, British Gas, twisted his arm, and they turned around and told him, "This is the price." A couple of years ago, when the prices were extremely at its highest, that's when he was opening his practice, and he was bringing in a new electricity in, and British Gas was the only company that was giving out contracts, so they gave him the craziest rates. Luckily, they only tied him into 1 year, and he's coming up to the end of his 1 year. Literally, and I'm no word of a lie, me and him were talking just a couple of days ago. I'm saving him just in the region of £12,000 as soon as he comes off that contract. That's for the year. That's a nurse. He's like, for him, he goes, that's another nurse, part-time nurse I can bring into the practice. That's a whole individual. And it's just like, honestly, there are so many people out there that like myself, who are coaches, who have gone through the process, who are there to help you, that want to support you. Yes, it costs a bit of money, but use us, call us, ask us the questions. Most of us are happy to help. From my point of view, is that I just want to help as many practices as I can, because I know the struggle of running your own business. I know the struggle of speaking to HR companies, because when I used to manage teams of humongous teams, and I used to go through HR companies or this organization's HR, they'll tell you what they think you should be hearing with regards to, oh, you can't fire them because of this. Oh, why don't you wait for their 3 months probation to end? No, don't waste your time. If this person's no good for you, just get rid of them. They're in their 3 month probation. You don't even need to give them a week's notice. Just say thank you very much at the end of the day and say goodbye. It's unfortunately, business has to be cutthroat, and you need to make decisions. Some of them are horrible because that this person's going through a hard time, but it's a business decision. It's not personal. Sometimes you've got to lay people off because your business is struggling. During COVID, a lot of dentists laid off a lot of people, and it was a hard time. But if you don't plan for the worst, you don't know what's coming around the corner. And then if you need to lay people off, yes, it's a hard decision, but don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. Take the decision and go with it. Just do it. Yes, the confrontation isn't nice, but you need to get it done.
Wow. Yeah, I can completely agree with you. I think there's loads of things in there. And the one thing I really want to unpick is that decision making. So there are some decisions which I feel you have to make immediately, and you just know, don't you, in your gut and in your heart, like, this is the right decision for me, this is the right decision for my business. But then there are other decisions where it's like, I think I actually need to mull this over and think about it, calm down, like de-stress.
The most important thing is don't make angry decisions.
Yeah. Don't make emotional decisions, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. In business, there is unfortunately, you sometimes have to switch off the emotion. And it's so difficult because it's your baby. The business is your baby. You've grown it from zero, and you've worked so hard on it, right? And there's a lot of emotions there, but you need to take the emotions out for you to be able to go to the next step. Because the minute you take emotions out, you're making this business decisions. And once you start making business decisions, the business will grow. Take the emotions out of it, do the business.
And that's one of the things I've learned massively over my business ownership time, is that you have to make the decisions for the business, and sometimes decisions are not easy, and they are emotive, they are hard, especially to execute that decision. And it's emotionally painful, but you have to be resilient as a business owner, and as a dentist as well. You have to be resilient and keep your mindset, and that's why we have goals and techniques and mindset management and everything like that, which helps fuel your drive and determination to allow you to reach those goals. So is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners for the next couple of minutes? Any like top tips that you've mentioned a couple of times about utility contracts that you've saved multiple thousands in utility contracts? Would you say that they are the easiest places where you can save money as a practice owner, or are there other contracts which are a bit more obscure that you wouldn't necessarily think that you can save on?
So there are a few. So the utility ones are pretty easy in the sense that there is a lot of companies out there that will tell you, I can give you the best rate. Unfortunately, I've worked with quite a lot of them. Some of them, unfortunately, tell you lies. And they'll give you the rate that they want because they earn a higher commission from that company. So you've got to be careful when taking those decisions. So I'm happy to help most businesses, tell them, honestly, the rate is not that right now. Go online, check what the rate is today. The rate changes every single day. It's like the stock market for the electricity and utilities. It goes up and down daily, and they'll price it roughly for the year, 2-year contracts. If you're getting a great rate, lock it in for 2-3 years. If you're not sure what type of rate you're getting, don't lock it in for as long, because try and do a year's contract, because the rates at the moment are still dropping. Then you've got the credit card companies, you've got suppliers. Suppliers is one of my biggest bug, because what they'll try and do is try and get exclusivity, especially with dentists. Okay. So so they'll try and say you can only buy supplies from me, and they'll do you a great rate in the beginning on certain lines, but on other lines they won't give you the best rate. So you've got to, and because they've tied you into a contract where you're the only service supplier, you're locked in that you have to buy everything from them. So yes, they're giving you cheap items on one side, but then they're hiking up the prices on the other. So you've just got to be careful of that. Be aware of exclusivity contracts. These are simple things that you've got to look at, and then also servicing. You might buy a phenomenal chair, but they'll try and hike it up with their servicing agreement for the chair. So have a look at the full package, the 360. Don't look at, the chair is 10 grand and the service package is this for this many years. What happens after 2 years? Because the chair is going to be perfectly fine for the first 2 years. It's not even going to need a service other than an annual checkup. But it's after that 2 years. What's going on? What have other doctors written in the forums? If there are any forums, have you checked? Have you spoken to other principals? Other associates. Sometimes associates know more than principals, because they're there using equipment daily, day in, day out. Principals are sometimes so busy with the business side of it that they sometimes are not using the equipment. So it's the associates that know more about their equipment. So it depends on who you speak to. So, and then nurses are a phenomenal amount of knowledge with regards to cleaning materials that they need, and other bits and bobs, the tiny bits. But just speak to the different people at different levels, and just appreciate everything with a pinch of salt, with your own expertise, and then speak to experts like myself who are out there who want to support practice owners. I know that there are companies out there that unfortunately try to take advantage of dentists, and I'm out there to combat it. I will expose people where I can, saying where dentists have been taken advantage of. I will honestly expose them, because I don't like it. I think dental practice people are working extremely hard for their money. They work long hours. They're working so hard. It really winds me up when I see people, taking advantage of dentists. And I'm always trying to find them the best deals, to make sure that I want them to make sure that they're running for the next 10, 15 years and they're absolutely enjoying life, because that's what they should be there for. They're there to help us. So we should be supporting them where we can.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I love that whole ethos. It's about help and support rather than, making a quick buck or, a quick commission. So how can people contact you? What's the best place for people to get in touch with you if they want to find out more, get some more help, advice, or even ask you to negotiate contracts on their behalf?
The simplest way is my Instagram. So if you look up the Dental Negotiator or Rida.Perfectus, either or, you'll find me on Instagram. That's the quickest way. I've got my email as well, which is Rida@perfectusci.com. That's another way that we can do it. But shoot us a couple of comments and I will try and jump in on the podcast if there are any comments at the bottom, and I'll respond to them, and then we can take it from there.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being my first guest. I hope I was the perfect host and asked lots of questions, and you really did help to ease my nerves. So yeah, looking forward to my personal journey on this podcast as well and I just wanted to say thank you for being my first guest and being so gentle with me.
Thank you for having me on. Really do appreciate it, and it was beautifully presented.
Oh, thank you. Thanks everyone.
Have a great